in this video, we're going to be practicing how to add and subtract fractions with like denominators. We're going to start out pretty easy, but all of them will have mixed numbers just to up the challenge a little bit. Just to remind you, how we're going to do this is I'm going to read the problem to you, then you're going to solve it on your own, either in the Nearpod or by pausing the video before coming back and watching me solve the problem. It's really important that you watch how I solve the problem to make sure that not only we got the same answer, but also that our work matches, because we should work it out pretty similarly, especially when we're adding and subtracting fractions. Let's get started with the first one. 4 1/2 minus 2 1/2. Go ahead and work it out and enter your answer. All right, let's work this out. You probably pretty much solved it in your head because I bet a lot of you can. But let's work it out the long way. We're going to start with the fraction side. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. I bet you knew that. But let's figure out why that is. We know that 1 plus 1 is 2. Oops. 2. And our denominator is 2. That's why 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. So we know that 2 over 2 equals 1. So we're out of fractions. We just have whole numbers now. 4 plus 2 is 6. And I know that 6 plus 1 equals 7. So my answer to 4 1/2 plus 2 1/2, is 7. Let's move on to the next one. 3 5/12 minus 8/12. Go ahead and work this one out on your own. All right, let's see if we got the right answer. We always start with the fraction. 5/12 minus 8/12. That's not going to work because I can't do 5 minus 8. So I know I'm going to have to borrow from the 3, make it a 2, and give myself 12/12 over here. Remember, it's 12 over 12 because that equals 1. I know that 5 plus 12 is 17. So I'm going to have 2 and 17/12 minus 8/12. So let's go ahead and subtract. 17 minus 8, I've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 9, keeping my denominator as 12. 2 minus 0, because there's no whole number next to 8/12, is 2. So you should have gotten 2 and 9/12. Let's do the next one. 5 4/8 plus 3 5/8. Go ahead and work it out. So for this one, it is addition. That's what's going to trip up a lot of you, is remembering to look at that sign. Let's add the fractions first. 4 plus 5 is 9 over 8. That's something we're going to have to fix. We know that 9 over 8 is an improper fraction. We can't have that as our answer. So we're going to pull 8 from that 9, because remember, we're pulling 8 eighths out of that fraction. So if I pull 8 eighths out, that's going to give me 1/8 left. So I'm going to have 1 and 1/8. Now let's do our whole numbers. You can't forget to do your whole numbers. 5 plus 3 is 8. So 8 and 9/8. Adding that 8 to our 1, it's going to give me 9 and 1/8 as my answer. Let's quickly review how we did that just to make sure. We had the answer 8 and 9/8, but we had to pull our 8/8 or our 1 out of our 9 to keep it from being an improper fraction. And when I pulled that 1 out, that gave me 9 wholes and 1/8 left, because 9 minus 8 is 1. Let's go ahead and do another one. 2 minus 1 1/4. Go ahead and work it out. So I bet a lot of you could do this one in your head as well, which means you're super smart, which is great, but we're going to work it out to figure out why that's the answer. We always start with the fraction, but I don't have a fraction up here. So we're going to have to make a fraction. We're going to have to borrow from our 2, make that a 1. And remember, when we borrow, we pull out a number that has the same number as the numerator and denominator. I'm going to make this easy on myself and make sure the denominator is 4, because the denominator is 4 down here. And make sure my numerator is 4 so that it equals 1. So instead of having a 2, we have 1 and 4/4, which equals 2. So let's subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3. Bring down my denominator. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 1 and 1/4 equals 3/4. I hope that's the answer you got. I think we've got maybe one more. 2 more. We got this. 9 and 1/10 minus 8 and 7/10. You're going to have to borrow. I'll see you when you're done. So for this one, 1/10 minus 7/10 can't do it. So we're going to have to borrow from our 9, make it an 8. When I borrowed from that 9, I gave myself 10/10. That means my 1/10 is going to become 11/10. It doesn't always work like that. You can't always just put a 1 there. But since it's a 10 in the denominator, it made it super easy. So we've got 8 and 11/10 minus 8 and 7/10. So we're going to subtract. 11 minus 7, 10, 9. Oh, let's count up actually. 8, 9, 10, 11. That gives me 4/10. 8 minus 8 is 0. My answer is 4/10. I hope that's the same answer you got. Remember, if it's not, you can always back the video up to figure out how I got my answer and make sure that your work matches mine. Last problem. Oh, nope. I had no idea how many I did. Extra problems are always good for you. 6 and 9/12 minus 3 and 10/12. Go work it out. All right, for this one, you had 6 and 9/12 minus 3 and 10/12. Fractions first. 9 minus 10, can't do it. You have a negative. Can't have a negative fraction. So we're going to borrow from our 6. Make it a 5. Remember, when we do that, we're going to add 1 to the fraction we have, and 1 would equal 12/12. So we're going to add 12/12 to the 9. 9 plus 12 is going to get me 21. Yes, it is. 21/12. 5 and 21/12 minus 3 and 10/12. So now I know I'm going to do 21/12 minus 10/12. 21 minus 10 is going to give me 11/12. 5 minus 3 is 2. You should have 2 and 11/12. That was a kind of tricky one because our numbers got a little high there. Wait till we do improper fractions, your number is going to get super high. This is our last one, and it's an addition. Looky here. 7 and 4/6 minus 4 and 3/6. Go work it out. All right, for this one, pretty simple because it's addition, much easier than those subtraction ones. We're just going to add the fractions first. 4 plus 3 is 7. Denominator is 6. 7 plus 4 is 11. We can't leave it like that. We have to pull 1 out of our 7/6. Now, if I pull 1 out, it's going to be 6/6. I'm going to say 7 minus 6 is going to get me 1/6. And if I'm pulling that 6/6 out, I need to take it to my 11 to make it a 12. So 11 and 7/6 equals 12 and 1/6 should have been your answer. I hope you got all of those right. Make sure to ask questions on any of the ones you missed so that we can make sure and fix any of your questions.